Wellington Dukes TV is brought to you by the Sandbanks Bar and Grill. Dukes fans, stop by the Sandbanks Bar and Grill on any home game night wearing your Dukes gear to receive 10% off your meal. The Sandbanks Bar and Grill, 153 Main Street, Wellington, Ontario. It's always better by the water. Hello once again and welcome to this playoff edition of Wellington Dukes TV. I'm Jason Parks of the Picton Gazette. As always, this edition of Wellington Dukes TV is brought to you by the Sandbanks Bar and Grill, 153 Main Street, Wellington. Well, after 4 games in the OJHL's Northeastern Conference quarterfinal series between the Cobourg Cougars and your Wellington Dukes, some things are beginning to look clear. For starters, the Dukes seem to like the confines of the Cobourg Community Center a little better than they like S-Rock Arena, which might be a good thing considering the Cougars have home ice advantage. Secondly, if the Dukes are going to make this series go the distance, they're going to have to figure out a way to beat Cougar netminder Nathan Perry, who looks to be stealing this series away from Wellington with his timely saves and his calming influence in the Cobourg net. Wellington finds themselves down 3-1 in games in the series. Let's see how they got there. The Dukes on the road in Game 1 taking on the Cougars, and it will be the home side striking first as Mason Marchment takes a feed from Alex De Oliveira and rips it home for a 1-0 lead. Later in the frame, Mark McCauley will lug the puck up the ice and eventually has time and space in front to tuck it past Tyson Teichman, and it's 2-0 after 1. Wellington gets on the board in the second as Abbott Gerdakis will pick up Wellington's first goal of the series with a backhander on the power play. Wellington would get another power play chance later in the stanza, but it will be McCauley grabbing the loose puck and beating Teichman again to make it 3-1. Cobourg would get another special teams goal in the third as Liam Grande scores on the power play to make it 4-1. Chad Thibodeau would blast home a goal just a minute 52 later to get Wellington closer, but that's all for the Dukes as they drop the opener 4-2. Game 2 at home was a tense affair as the pace was back and forth and neither Perry nor Teichman blinked through 2 periods. Teichman made 18 saves while Perry was equally as good. The game's only goal would come halfway through the third as Nick Neal was left alone in front and he puts the Cougars ahead 1-0. Wellington had chances late to equalize, but Perry just kept shutting the door, stopping all 30 Wellington shots, and the Cougars escape with a 1-0 win. Game 3 back in Cobourg, and the Cougars honored Newcastle native and 2014 Olympic women's hockey gold medalist Tara Watchorn. For the first time in the series, it would be Wellington getting on the board first as Alex Carnevale taps home this Andrew McCann rebound for the only goal of the first period. In the second, Mike Robinson will rip home his first of the series to double Wellington's lead. The game got ugly late as the captains collide at center ice with Connor Armour taking a healthy run at Eric De Laurentiis. Chad Thibodeau had some words for Armour as De Laurentiis had difficulty getting off the ice. With the score 2-1, McCann will slip home his first of the playoffs, and De Laurentiis came back to add an empty netter late as the Dukes win 4-2. Back at home the next evening for Game 4, and Dukes fans dreaming the club would build on their win were rudely awakened. Grande would tip home a power play goal just 2 minutes in, then, later in the frame, would pick up his second power play goal of the first period. Cobourg would score 3 more in the second, including this Ryan Logan blast, and it ended up 5-0 in favor of the visitors. If Wellington is to make a series of it, they will need a huge effort Friday night in Cobourg in Game 5. If the Dukes can win, Game 6 would be Sunday night in Wellington, possibly followed by a winner-take-all Game 7 next Monday evening in Cobourg, but it's far too early to start talking about that. Wellington is going to have to take it one shift at a time Friday night and then go from there. Until next time, for Wellington Dukes TV, I'm Jason Parks.